What is up, everyone? There we go. Let's get this party started. Hopefully everybody's doing well. It's been a minute since I've done a live stream. I wanted to get back into the swing of things and do all that type of stuff. So happy to be back, actually. So we'll get started here in just a couple of minutes once we have some folks. Give some folks a couple of moments to get in here and get all hooked up and all that good stuff that goes with it. So, but yeah, life is good. Things are going well. Definitely going down the rabbit hole of CCD. We'll be talking about that here in just a few minutes, and talking about, we'll be looking at the topology, and I'll be doing a little bit of a build out for iOS firewall, and I'll be doing a little bit of setting up for VPN technologies and things like that. So hopefully stuff that you guys will find relevant and stuff like that. So yeah, good stuff. If you guys have any questions or comments, anything like that, feel free to throw it in the chat. I will definitely try to answer those questions as we're going along. But yeah, other than that, life is doing well. No complaints. I mean, I could, but nobody would care, right? So yeah, good stuff. So we'll give it another minute or two before we get down into the weeds and things like that. So, and all the good things that go with it. Okay. I am currently working on getting a lab set up for my testing and things like that. Cool. That works. Awesome. So DHCP is working the way I want it to. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the topology you see in front of you, and we're going to talk a little bit about the goal for that, as I alluded to in my earlier video today about my CCDE prep. I definitely going to be spending some time going through the platforms and the technologies and things like that that revolve around those. So I wanted to let's bring that up actually, and talk a little bit about how that's going to work. So as I was mentioning in that video, one of the things that I wanted to make mention of is that if you look at the core technology list for security underneath the security section, and you also look at the wireless section, there's a pretty heavy section on both security and wireless. Infrastructure security, doing things like locking device down, device hardening techniques and control plane protection methods, management plane protection, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of different capabilities that it's by studying for the CCDE, you're also at the same time studying for multiple other certifications at the same time. So the idea is, why not capitalize on the time and the effort? That's the thought process. So if you can basically double book yourself from a study perspective to go learn a bunch of different technologies, that's basically the direction that I decided I was going to go with. So what was the question here? Hello from your... Okay. What happened to the real world topology? Nothing happened to the real world topology. It's still going to be something that I will be doing down the road, but it's that is going to be more of a I haven't figured that out yet, what I'm actually going to do with it. But right now, my goal is to focus on technology-specific labs, specifically like, if I want to focus on firewalls and security and VPN and things like that, I'm going to build labs specific to that. And then real-world networking, real-world topology would be more geared to how you would take that same technology and understanding and apply it in a real-world setting. That's the idea behind that. So that'll come down the road, but it'll take some time to get there because there's a lot that goes into it. So right now I'm in the learning phase, and hopefully within a relatively short period of time I'll be able to start putting that together. But there's a lot that goes into that type of stuff. So, but yeah, based off of the core technologies list and things like that, it makes sense for anyone that happens to be studying for DE or large-scale networking to spend the time to go through and learn the technologies and get them operational and things like that, and then be able to put them in. You're at the same time basically studying for the service provider CCIE. So there's a lot of overlap between them, and because of that, it only makes sense to attack more than one certification. So if you guys have any questions on anything like that, let me know in the comments. You can always comment on the video after the live stream is over with. But that's essentially where I'm at with that. So what I'm going to be doing as I'm working on this, I've obviously got a firepower device up and running, FTD 7 or 27. I have this Windows PC here, and I can pull that up real quick. I actually went, and this Windows PC is getting a DHCP IP address from FTD 27. So if I was to ping 192.168.27.1, it should respond, hopefully. I might have to enable the capability for ping, but it's definitely getting a DHCP address. So, and the reason why it doesn't show anything here is because there's no internet access at the moment. But, so what we'll do is on FTD 27, I don't have SSH set up to it yet, but if you do a show, I think it's DHCP binding, they're binding all. Yeah, so there's a binding in the table here for 192.168.27.11. So that tells me that this Windows box and this Windows device here is going to end up being the device that I use to do any type of remote access connectivity and stuff like that. So once I get AnyConnect working on the ASAs, then that'll be how I test it out and things like that. And like site-to-site VPN from this box to, say, any of the routers that I get stood up. So right now I was just focusing on ASA and FTD. And for any of you that are curious, why are you, because I have gotten the question, why are you studying ASA when FTD is replacing it? And the simple answer to your question, as I've stated before, is ASA is still on the blueprint right there. So ASAV, and then ASA 5512 and 5516. So that is the reason why I've decided I'm going to focus on those areas and go through that, because it's on the blueprint and it's on the hardware and software list. So now the complicated part, I guess you could say, is to figure out how I'm going to go about getting the I've got the ASA set up. Now it's going to be a matter of figuring out how to get the zone-based firewall routers, which it really isn't that super complicated, but it's a matter of laying that out and also doing the MPLS VPN so that I can get VPN and go through all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and keep laying out some devices here and start trying to figure this out. It's going to be kind of a you watch Rob try to figure something out instead of me, already having it all figured out. So, which is fine, no big deal. So I'm going to grab like 8 of the CSRs, and you might be like, why CSRs? And the simple answer to that is simple because they have the most recent operating system. iOS routers are lighter in terms of resources, but are older model routers. 2900s, 3900s, 1900s, stuff like that. They're older, so they definitely need that type of stuff. And because you're going to see iOS routers, and on the blueprint here, there are, where is it? CSR 1000V right here. So that's the one you really need. They're going to test you on CSR 1000V, and they're going to test you on iOS V layer 2 at 15.2, and there's no mention of regular iOS. So I don't have to do any regular iOS. However, if you look at the exam topics, they do talk about AnyConnect client-based remote access. So we're talking full tunnel, AnyConnect on Cisco FTD and Cisco routers. So if you understand how they work, you'll know that the CSR 1000V has a limited functionality when it comes to doing any type of remote access VPN termination. So iOS V does have the capability. So that's one of those things where you have to be able to work with that. And I have to test that capability out to see what my options are with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab a handful of routers here. Oops, he can go back over here and get that squared away. So what I'm doing here is I'm trying to set this up so that I can have ASA, FTD, iOS router, firewall capabilities, zone-based firewall, all that type of stuff on the topology, ready to go, and easy for me to demo and lab up at any point in time. That's the goal there. So CSA CSR 29, I would have him sitting back here, and it's not specifically called out here in the exam blueprint, but if you look at, it's not, they don't call it out, but they do call traffic zones and stuff like that. So even though they don't call it out, it's still technically there. So for zone-based firewall. So now it's just a matter of putting into context what it is that we want to test out. So to put this into easy to follow terms, let me go ahead and duplicate this. What I would do is for these different devices and things like that, I will put in here some nomenclature for you guys. So this might be multiple context ASA, and we'll do that, and this will sit right here, so we can do multiple context mode, and then we'll have a couple of devices sitting here, and then this box here, this pair over here would be, say for example, like a cluster. So it's just a matter of putting it into terms that's easy to follow. I'll bring this down just a little bit so that I can, so we'll duplicate that, and this will be ASA cluster, so on and so forth. So we'll see what that looks like as we're going along. So we'll be able to, it'll make sense when it comes time to demo stuff out. You'll know based off the topology where I'm at with different things and stuff like that. So I'm going to hook this router here, and the idea is to do like zone-based firewall. Now what's interesting is, and it's been a while since I've covered it, some platforms on like iOS XE supports zone-based firewall, but the way that the inspection process works, it's been a while since I've covered it, so I honestly don't remember the specifics. But if you're going through the process, you'll see that iOS routers will handle things a little bit different than iOS XE routers. So knowing that, you'll throw a couple of routers out just to make sure you're being thorough is kind of the idea. So I'm going to grab this guy right here, and what we're going to do is we're going to make this kind of like an HQ site, if you will, and we'll put a couple of, grab a switch here. I'll grab 2. Call that a switch. And the idea is to create some connectivity. I'm with the wrong switch. So we'll go something like this. We'll have this guy sitting back here, and then we'll do, we'll have this guy hanging off here. We'll have this guy hanging off over here, and we'll be able to do different types of connectivity testing. So we'll be able to do, I would do like 2 spokes of each. So like DMVPN, FlexVPN, they'll each get their own spoke. So for example, this guy here would get connected over here, and then 42, actually I take that back. Yeah, 42 would get connected over here. And so let's go ahead and connect some of these guys up. So this guy will get connected here. That'll be a spoke for a certain type of VPN connectivity. So I'll be able to test out the VPN connectivity at the same time. And also there's some like NAT and some other firewall rules that we'll be able to test and things like that. So it's a pretty robust topology. And then this guy here will get connected here. And then this guy right here will get connected over here. So now we have that done. And as I'm sitting here looking at the topology, we'll go grab this guy here. I'll get connected to both of these. Because why not, right? So we'll do this. Bring that over here. Something like that. So then that'll give us DMVPN, FlexVPN, so on and so forth. And then what I'm going to do on next will be, and this will give me the option of doing like HSRP, authenticate that, basic stuff like that that you might get tested on. Knowing how to get it all working. Another one would be for like get VPN. We're going to go grab a couple more nodes. We'll grab some more CSRs, which are actually this direction. I'll grab 6 of these guys. These guys will be CSRs. I'll rename them so it'll be obvious as to what they are. So we'll grab 46, 47, 48, 49, and then 50, 51. We'll make this our MPLS VPN, and this will allow us to test out a bunch of different stuff. So we'll grab and connect. Actually, I want to do it the other way around. I'm always thinking it from a IP addressing format and what makes things make the most sense. So we'll go and do stuff like that. And then as we're going through and building this, we'll be able to test a bunch of different capabilities out as well. And the cool thing about it is that with getting all this stuff connected the way we are, when it comes down to getting stuff connected up, for example, whether it's get VPN, DMVPN, stuff like that, we'll go ahead and we'll add in a couple more routers. Come down here and I'll grab like grab 3 of these. We'll just put them in here as CEs for simplicity. And we'll do this guy right here will be a CE. So that means we'll be able to do iOS and iOS XE testing at the same time. So we'll go grab these 2 as well. And like I said, it doesn't take long to try to put this together. It's just a matter of understanding the goal behind it. So there's that. And then we'll get these guys connected here. Like so. Cool. So now that that's done, we have this guy right here. We're going to need at least a couple more routers that we'll be able to use for firewall boxes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to connect him to here on iNet 4. And we'll go grab this switch here. He'll sit behind here. And this guy will connect to this guy like so. A little too far. So I'll be able to do firewalling on that router as well. And this gives me some other flexibility back here. I could do some other connectivity behind the switch. But that's really the goal, right? Is to be able to get the connectivity in place the way that it's needed. So it is pretty big, but it's necessary in order to be thorough in your testing and things like that. So what I'm going to do is, and things can morph from, section to section. So I might add a little bit, I might subtract a little bit, I might edit what I've got here and move some stuff around. But at the end of the day, the connectivity in place is necessary, right? So you need to be able to verify all your capabilities. I'll go ahead and take this guy over here and get this connected here, and then this would be the MPLS VPN. And by having that laid out here in the corner, I'll be able to do this, like so. And this will be obviously a PE router, this will be a P core, so on and so forth. And I'll just relabel the ID so that it makes sense. So we have 2 different CE routers, and then we have these guys right here. All 4 of them will be group members. I might have to add in a key server if I'm testing stuff out and things like that. So there is a process to it, right? And that's really the bottom line, that we need to understand the details for it. So the goal now is there's most of these devices are pretty heavy to try to get working. So it's going through like this FTD box here. One of the things that I was going to look at doing is trying to see how I could get SSH working. And I was testing it out earlier and it wasn't working. As a matter of fact, here's what I had. And so I'm trying to connect to FTD27 via SSH, and it won't let it through. So I was like, okay, well, what's the deal? So that's what you and I are going to go figure out. Is it this one? Yep. Here is no. It's this one. Firepower Management Center. Here we go. All right. So. System configuration. I haven't done it on 7.0, and I haven't had a chance to figure it out yet. So I'll have to, let's see if it's a system configuration thing. HTTPS. let's see what our options are here for SSH access. Let me do a quick configuring remote storage management. No, that's not what I want to do. I think that's the only option I'm going to have. Login banners. Automatic CLI access for the FMC. I don't want that. So that's the only one there for that. Okay. So I don't think that I'm on the right page, even though that makes sense. Classic device configuration. Getting started. No, that's not what I want. Your user account. Logging into the firepower system. Let's see here. Single sign-on. That's not what I want. I want to set up SSH on a particular interface. And how would I accomplish that? This is one of those things where you spend a little bit of time trying to figure out how to make something work. Advanced settings. No, that's not it. Application compliance platform settings. Okay, so that's where I thought I would have to go. Firepower threat defense. Okay. Secure shell. Okay, that's better. So now I don't want to log into the FMC. I want to log into the configuring secure shell. Okay, so let's see here. SSH is enabled by default on the management interface. However, this screen does not affect management SSH access. This is separate from other interfaces. Okay. You can configure SSH internal users at the CLI using config user add. Okay. So this is one of the things that I did do, is I went through and I made sure to, I did this. So this is one of those times where I have to come over here, log into the FMC. And this is FMC 7. So if you go to devices and you go to device management, I've got FTD 27 joined, right? And if you come over here to devices and you go to platform settings and I click on here, I have SSH set up. This is my local subnet. And then I did policy assignments and I added FTD 27 to it. So I thought I was on the right track. So this is where I get like, okay, what's the deal? So let's take a look back over here at this guy and see what the deal is. Did I miss something? If you enable SSH, if you enable the FMC access on a data interface such as outside, you should enable SSH on the interface using this procedure. The section describes how to enable SSH connections to one or more data interfaces. Okay. So for the management interface, and then configure static route, configure network static routes. Okay, so this is where you have to pull up this guy, and we want to do a show access list. So it's quite a bit here. Show SSH access list. Okay, so it's basically saying accept everywhere. So, okay, so we're going to do show route. And can I ping we're going to say 172.31.40.1. Okay, I can ping my gateway. Can I ping 10.255.10.50? I can. So what that tells me is I have end-to-end reachability and I don't need to do anything fancy. So if I do a show run pipe include user, there is no user. So that might be part of the problem. Let's see, where was that? Config, before you begin, you can configure SSH external users at the CLI using, okay, so we're going to say configure user add, and then you're going to say admin. By default, there is an admin user for which you configured the password and interest of. You can also, okay, and then access level, admin config, there we go. User already exists. Okay, so that's what I was expecting to see. So, okay, you need network objects that define the hosts or networks that you will allow to make SSH connections to the device. Objects, object management. Okay, so I come back over here. We're going to go objects, object management, and then we're going to see there's nothing in here that really gives me, so I'll go ahead and add network, add an object. We're going to call management net. It's going to be a, technically it's going to be a host. It's only going to be my computer. So 10.255.10.50. We're going to say management host. Let's do that instead. I'm going to click on save. All right. And so if we go back over here to that. So let's try this one more time. So we're going to go back to device, platform settings, adjust this guy, go to SSH access. We're going to edit this, and we're going to say management host. And we want to allow that traffic to come in on this internet interface, which is gig0/5. That's the game plan. So we're going to say OK. We're going to click on save, and we're going to go deploy. Click on FTD27 and deploy. There's like 9 confirms that you have to go through. It's kind of funny. Ooh. All right, so while we're waiting on that, I did want to make mention of the website. So I do have a website. It's operational. I'm going to go ahead and bring it over here. I'm going to click on this guy. This is the website that I have, RobRikerstechChannel.com. Since most of you know me through YouTube, that's where this is coming from. So the site is live and it's active. There's content on it. If you're curious at any point in time where stuff is sitting, content-wise, you can feel free to check out the menu tab. And then there's the workbook and the video on demand for the workbook. This is the table of contents for the workbook. There's everything that I've done in the workbook is here. So feel free to go through that. If you are interested in seeing what a demo of the workbook looks like before you buy, try it before you buy, feel free to click on this. This will take you over to Google Drive and you can download it. If you're interested in knowing where I'm at in the video on demand, this takes a little bit of updating to do, but any of the overview sections of the workbook that I've been able to cover through the technical videos, so the technical deep dives and things like that, those will be done here. So obviously here I'm working through RIP and I've started EIGRP. That's as far as I've been able to make it though. I'm still currently working towards wrapping up EIGRP and getting that done. So there's that. If you want to buy, feel free to click on the shop and you can purchase the All Access Pass, and $25 a month. You get access to everything that I've got, and it will be routinely updated over time. So that's something to be aware of as well. And then here on the home tab, if you're interested in the All Access Pass, this will bring you here. You can cancel anytime. You get access right away. You can register for free by clicking on the Register tab or button here. You can register, but if you don't feel like paying, don't feel obligated. It's just it's how I have it set up right now, and I will be adding content over a course of time. So just be aware of those things. Okay, so now that I've got that done, let's go back over here to this guy, and we're going to show SSH access list. It still shows that anywhere, state and new TCP. Yeah, so it should theoretically work. Let's test this on PuTTY real quick. So it's going to be 172.31.40.11. Yeah, it says it times out. I don't even get the what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even get the RSA key. That's what's kind of like, wow, why am I not getting that? So that's why I feel like I've got something wrong. So let's deploy. So let's go to devices, device management. So we've got that. It looks like things are working. So that's why it's a little like, I don't get it. So let's go over here to objects, or is it policies? Policies, no, I want access control. So there's nothing in here really that would give me anything. This is going to be traffic going through the firewall. So I'm not exactly sure why this is giving me object management. Our zones should be over here. And again, this is one of those things where I'm still learning where everything is at. So network, address pools, no. AAA server, no. Time zone, tunnel zone, no. I honestly don't know where you would put the zone. This is where I would assume you would put it. Intrusion rules. Yeah, I don't want that. Device management. When you create a zone, you create it over here typically. Go over here and you would say the zone. You can create a zone. So we'll say iNet management. Right, so that just creates a new zone. And we'll go ahead and click on OK. We'll save that config. But if you go back over here to object management, there is no security zone. So let's just go back over here to device management. And we'll go ahead and edit. iNet management. The interface is enabled. So I know we verified pings, right? That's the part that's a little trippy, is that it does ping correctly. So that's why I'm like, if you come over here to device, there's nothing over here that gives me any indication that anything should be wrong. And then if you come over here to devices and you go platform settings, and we edit this, So I'm actually a little bit surprised that it's not working at all. Let's do HTTP access. Let's go ahead and enable HTTP server. And then we'll go ahead and do this. And we'll save that. I'm just curious to know if it'll work at all, because typically speaking, you'd have to add in who you want. So you would have to turn, if you wanted HTTP users to be able to access, you had to turn HTTP on, then you'd have to specify the subnets that would be allowed, so on and so forth. So it would be kind of a big to-do and process that you'd have to go through. And I can show you what I mean. It's not that difficult. It says security zone interface group INET defined for policy. It does not match any global. Is that a warning, or is that policies defined with this will not be deployed? Okay. So I thought I had cleared that. INET management. Okay, so deployment history. So this is the latest one. So it's still working on that. It's in progress. So we'll see what that one comes up with. But this is why it's nothing bad. It's just one of those things where I haven't mastered how this works. But here on the FTD, if you were to come in here, going back over here to the documentation, it tells you you can do IP addresses by using the access list. So for just out of kicks and giggles, we'll go ahead and do configure SSH-access list, and we'll say the CIDRs is going to be 10.255.10.0/24, and we'll go ahead and see if that doesn't help. Okay, SSH was successfully changed. So you would think that that would fix the problem. So we'll go ahead and 172.31.40.11, and then we'll say open. And then we still get, it should pop up right away and give us like an RSA that it's working. So that's why it's a little confusing, like what the heck's going on here? Yeah, so we're getting further. It's not, it's connection timed out. Actually, I think that was the same problem I had before. So, let's see what my other options are here. I don't need a static route because I can ping 172. Or I can ping 10.255.10.50, and I know it works. So I have end-to-end reachability between my local computer and this guy. It's just that for whatever reason, now I do have another option here. I can go over here to remote desktop, and I can grab, I think it's this guy. This is a Windows PC that I'm using for my testing. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that out. So what I could do is bring this guy over here. Let's ping 10.255.1.91. That's the IP address of FMC, or sorry, the FTD box. So if I was to come in here and, do I have putty on this thing yet? I don't think I do. Yeah, I know it's a It's an old build of Windows. I did that intentionally. So let's go over here to Firefox real quick. And we'll download PuTTY real quick. I should be able to ping ping 10.255.1.91. Yeah, so if I open up SSH, we say new session. It's running a little slow. I might have to let's go ahead and do 10.255.1.91. This should work. Hopefully. Not that one. Connection refused. Okay, that's different though. This one here was connection timed out. So we're going to say close the program. We're going to say PuTTY. We'll download PuTTY. And we will grab... Oh, I guess I already had it downloaded. I guess I just forgot where it was at. Downloads PuTTY. And in case anybody's wondering, why do you have a really old installation of Windows? And that's because it's the only version of Windows that I can get the ASDM to work with. So we'll say 10.255.1.91. This is the local subnet. So I'm on the same subnet as that guy. So now I know it's... So with that, I have to come over here. And this is an FMC level thing, so I come over here to the FMC configuration. Yeah, here I would do it, and it's SNMP management interfaces. So 90. I don't want to change any IP addressing, but access list. Yeah, see, it's allowing anything to connect into it. So I should be able to, for example, pull up PuTTY. I don't know why PuTTY is just timing out, but so we'll say 10.255.1.90, and if I was to click on open, I'm expecting this to pop up, right? Where I see this, I see the RSA key. This is what I'm expecting to see. I'll say accept, and then I would type in admin and then the password. Maybe it's root. I honestly don't. I don't ever log into it. Okay. So that's the... This is me logging into the FMC. So, but I don't care about the FMC. I don't want to log into the manager. I want to log into the access control preferences. No. So anyway, my goal here is to go to devices and then platform settings and then be able to allow SSH access to, and I turned on HTTP. So I go back over here to this guy and I do a show HTTP. Okay, so it's enabled. So if I was to say open this up and go to HTTPS 172.31.40.11, connection failed. So it's just I think it's a cert. I wonder if I could. Maybe that's what the problem is. I've had this problem in the past. So what I think it might be is I might need to come over here and I might need to update the crypto key. So devices, device management, and then we'll grab this guy, device, and let's see, is there anything in here? And I don't know how to do this on FTD. It's one of those things where I just haven't spent the time on the platform to learn it yet. So so that's one of the things that I'm going to have to. Basically, what I think the problem is the crypto isn't set up correctly. So if I had to come back over here to this guy, can we do a clear? Is there a crypto? Crypto CA. No, that's. I want to say clear. Like I need to create a new SSH key is essentially what I feel like I need to do. You know, your standard SSH process, right? You have to create a domain name. You have to create the crypto keys for your general keys. Clear crypto. Yeah, see, there's nothing in here, and this one here that would give me, and I can't configure. Is that an option? Configure crypto. Yeah, that's not an option here. So it's like I feel like I'm kind of out of luck until I figure out how to make that work. It's not a what do you call it? It's not a game change or yeah. Thanks, Lawrence. It definitely was a good break. Definitely good to be back. Happy to be back myself. That's for sure. So I'd have to see exactly how I could set that up. So going revert in regards to doing the crypto. I think that's what the problem is. I wonder if I turned SSH off. Let's go devices. I'm under devices, platform settings. Let's see, certificates. Add certificates. Select a device. Certificate enrollment. Yeah, see, I would have to. The key, like this, the RSA key. We'll just call this SSH. Just curiosity here. And save. CA information. Self-signed. Is this what I'm looking for? Yeah, we'll try that. Certificate parameters. Use host device. Use device host name as FQDN. Sure, that'll work. Common name will be FTD27. SSH. Add. We'll see if that doesn't help. Crypto doesn't work if it's unlicensed. Yeah. Well, it's got base the base license. What do you call it? The 90-day eval. That's what it does have. So I'm just hoping that'll fix my SSH issue. You never know. Hopefully. I was going to monkey around with it for a little bit. Okay, so that created that. So I'm just curious now if I click over here, fingers crossed maybe? I have no idea. I'm expecting something, but it should. As I have reachability, but for whatever reason I can't get the crypto to work for SSH. So, no big deal, but it'd be nice because doing it this way through, what do you call it? Oh, I closed it out. Clicking on this guy, having it up here is show crypto. I want to do key. No, that's, yeah, that's not quite CA certificates. There's a trust there. Here's the self-signed, but actually it's not even valid yet. So can I do a clock set? I might have to set the time. It's not even valid yet until midnight, and it's only coming up at 8 o'clock. So that's part of the problem. Device, platform settings. What is the time thing? Time synchronization. Time zone. CST. Oh, ensure the time range. Okay, so that the policy assignment. Okay, that's correct. And then we'll save that. See, these are the things that I monkey with when you guys aren't watching, and watching me fidget around with the device, the box. These are the things that you don't get to see. SSH to FTD. I wanna be able to SSH to this guy. I want to SSH directly to the firewall, not the FMC. That's what I want. I think there is an ACL for inbound access to FMC. Yeah, it's I did the SSH ACL on the FTD box itself, but it's just I haven't spent anywhere near the amount of time to do this, and if I have, it was like 5 years ago. So deploy anyway. Who cares? I'm just monkeying around. So, but it's one of those things where I have a whole bunch of other capabilities that I want to test out. My goal is to at least get internet access for the Windows PC here, so that if I need to download something I can, or if I need to upload the operating system to the ASA, I'll be able to do sort of any connect. I'll be able to test things out and stuff like that. So that's the game plan. So, but right now I'm just monkeying around with it and getting myself ready to go for CCDE prep. The cool thing about this is I'm learning as I'm going, and so that at the end of the day, that's really the benefit, right? Is seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, and testing those things out that platform. Yeah. So what he's saying is you go devices, platform settings, and then once you adjust the platform settings policy, you come over here, you go to SSH access, and then you set it up here. So that's essentially what he's talking about. So time synchronization, time zone. Yeah, so we're just waiting for that to finish up. But yeah, that's essentially where I was going with that. So show time. Yeah, so I've got I don't think it's, local time is 2100 Eastern. Yeah, so it's it's getting better, right? It's definitely getting better, but show certificate. Yeah, so the certificate won't even be legit for another couple of hours, which is fine. I know I can't demo things like AnyConnect on FTD because if we come over here to, I think it's this guy, and we go to licenses, classic licenses, no, smart license maybe. So I don't have the ability, we're in evaluation mode, and I don't have any AnyConnect down here. So all I can do is the FMC license, and then I have base, then I have malware, threat, and URL filtering. So I'll be able to test these things out, but I won't be able to do AnyConnect on that, which is fine. I'm not too concerned about that. It just, I would look at how the documentation says to go through that, and I'd go to those, I follow the navigation for it. But setting up AnyConnect on ASA is pretty simple. I've got an ASA firewall here at home, so I'd be able to monkey around with that. So those are the type of things where you would learn how to do there, and then for anything you can't do, you would demo. You would just go through the documentation and just know where to turn it on. So, and like I said, I don't know off the top of my head where you would go, but like if you're over here and you're going to devices and you're doing remote access, right? You go to add, and then you'd have to go through this process, right? So you name it and you just follow the wizard to get it to work. So I've never done it, but so do like, test, and we'll throw both of them in here. We'll say add, then next, then you'd have to come in here and AAA method, and there's a bunch of other options that you have to turn on. I'm actually curious to see how far. Let's do click edit. So we'd have to add and these are some of the things that you just have to jump through a ton of hoops. We'll do another test, and then we'll 172.16.255.0 through 172.16.255.10. And then, right, you do this, save, click on that, then add it, and then I don't have one defined, right? So you'd literally have to go through and do every one of these, radius server group, and then add all that. So there's a bunch of steps that you have to go through in order to do AnyConnect on the box. And it's kind of a joke how many steps there are. Yes, there are that many steps on ASA, but it's a wash which one's easier to work with. But I've done it on ASA a bunch, so I know how to get that one to work. So that would be where I would test it out and get it working. But my goal was to work my way from the center of the topology out, get all the internet routing working. I wanted to get SSH access stood up on the FTD box. If it doesn't work, no harm, no foul. But eventually, FTD 24, 25, 26, 28, get them working, and then be able to connect into stuff like that. The FTDs are painful because you can apply everything, but if it requires encryption, it just doesnn't work unlicensed. Spent hours working that while troubleshooting a test IPsec tunnel. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things that's just a massive pain in the other end, and sometimes it's not worth the effort. But so one of the cool things about that, though, that I've been learning is if we were to come up here to this guy, and this is the FMC, if we come down here to Threat Defense VPN, and then we look at remote access on this guy. Now, you can do site-to-site VPNs. I've done them on 6.6, but I haven't tested on 7.0 yet. So if we look at remote access, and you take a look at configuring remote access VPN, it's a bunch of stuff that you have to go through, and the process is not straightforward. So unless you've done it a bunch of times. So now I have done a bunch of AnyConnect in my career, so I generally know the flow. But the first time I would go through it, I'd be looking at my documentation and I'd be walking step by step through it because I honestly don't remember all of the individual steps. So, but all of these steps that they're having you go through are there basically for the process to make sure that you're being secure and things are going to go the way you want them to. That's essentially the direction they're trying to get you to go. So there's a lot of steps to go through this, but that's the nature of the beast, I guess, when you're looking at connecting this stuff together and all that type of stuff. So, but the funny thing about that is, and this is probably where I'm going to wrap it up for the evening, is that there are very few customers that I've come across in my entire career that had ASA firewalls and stayed on ASA, or went to FTD. A lot of customers went to other firewall platforms. They, for one reason or another, they didn't like FTD and they went over to Palo, or they went to Fortinet or some other platform. I am not a big fan of FTD, to be honest with you. And the only reason I would spend the time to learn it is because there's customers out there that have it, and because of the fact that I'm just a technology enthusiast in general, I would learn it just because of that. So one of the things that I plan on doing on this topology is I will be adding in some Palo and some Fortinet, because there are two other decent firewall platforms that I'll be adding in. But this is more or less for VPN, firewall, that type of stuff. So there's going to be a lot of cool stuff that I'm going to be testing out and demoing. It's just a matter of getting through it. So I don't get upset when I can't get the FTD box to do SSH. I'll just have to, figure it out. That's one of those things that I'll just have to do. No big deal. But so beyond that, that's pretty much what it is that I've got going on here. I do know DHCP works because this Windows PC here, if I pull it up, I did get this IP address through DHCP, and if I pull up at the FTD and I do a show DHCP binding all, I do have a DHCP binding. So I do have DHCP working on it. I know it works. So if I come over here, I can see that I've got DHCP operational there. So these are just some of the things that I will have on this PC. I eventually would like to get internet access through the firewall, and I technically could do that like right now. As a matter of fact, I could NAT 192.168.27 over to 10 or the 172 network, and that would be pretty easy if I went to devices and then I did NAT, and we'll just say we'll edit this, and then we'll do we'll go ahead and just get rid of that. I was doing some testing elsewhere, but we'll say add rule. This will be an auto NAT rule. It'll be a dynamic rule. Nowadays, you need to understand the three big ones: FTD, ASA, Palo, and Forta, even if you're not an expert, because everyone is running one of them and migrate to another. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to say this will be from what is that? Gig. This will be from PCs as the source, and this will be iNet management as the destination. Translation will be 172. Yep, that's fine. Translated address, destination, interface IP, and that should be good enough. Yeah, so we'll say, wait, show warnings, select the device, guess not, close, save, deploy. Let's see if that doesn't do the job. Beg your pardon? I must have done something wrong already because it screws that up. We'll go over here to, targeting device. We're going to say, did it not? Cancel. Let me go ahead and just get rid of that policy. Yeah. We're going to say new policy, new threat defense policy. We're going to call this NAT. And of course, I did this. Say policy. Then we're going to go add rule, AutoNAT, dynamic. Original source is going to be 192.168. And the destination, the interface objects, we're going to do PCs to source, and we'll do iNet management to destination. Click on OK. No warnings closed, so that looks good. Save. We're going to say deploy. And we're going to go zoom that in just a little bit. That's 100% deploy. Let's see if my NAT process is going to work. Hopefully that'll give me internet access on the Windows box. So we jump back over here to FTD and we do a show run NAT. There shouldn't be any NAT rule here. And if we jump back over here to the piece, oops, not that one. Jump back over here to the Windows box. Now, do I expect it to, if I do an IP /all, did I set DNS? I did not. Way to go, Bob. I think I can adjust that here on the fly. Network and Sharing Center. Yeah, I can do it this way. That'll work. Keep my IP address itself dynamic, but my DNS server, that'll work. Okay, let's try that out again. Quad 8. All right, so where are we at with this one? Completed. If we look at show run NAT, there it goes. I may have missed it. What is your current streaming interaction schedule? Is it Monday and Wednesday? So let's go ahead and give this a shot here. Let's go ahead and try to ping quad 8. Request timed out. Oh, yep, I need an ACP. So I need to go over here to policies, access control, and I need to go ahead and get rid of that guy. Yes. And then we're going to go over here to this guy. And we need to go ahead and say add rule. The name is going to be NAT. And then we're going to say mandatory. Yep, allow. It's going to be PCs to the source. iNet management to the destination. And then we're going to say applications are going to be any. Inspection is going to be none. Logging, we're going to say log at the end of the connection. Click on add, and then we're going to say save, and then we're going to say deploy, and then deploy. So let's see if I can get all this stuff to work. Like I said, I spent quite a bit of time on FTD, but it's been specific stuff I don't remember. Like how to get SSH to work. I don't know. I figure eventually that'll work itself out, but so we'll see how this works out. And let's put here a -T. Maybe it'll work. Hopefully it will. If it does, that'll be a great sign, because then I'll just be able to go out to the internet. That's my goal. Fortunately, FMC is a virtual machine, and the FTD boxes are KVM boxes. So hopefully it'll be kind of quick, but you never know. So, and there are fireworks going off in the background if you can hear them. So, okay, looks like we're almost there. Hopefully I've done everything right. Hopefully. Completed. Maybe not. My goal is to have that to start to replying to pings, but I guess it's not going to work. So, let me go back over here to device management. We're going to look at PCs, iNet management. Okay, so those are both where they should be. So let's do this. Control C. Let's do a tracert to Google. Does it take the correct path? Oh, I want to. Let's not do a DNS lookup. And I should have a route to that. So if I pull up FTD, and I do a show route. So I have an IP, so we're going to ping. Can I ping quad 8? Aha. That might be the problem. Okay, so can I ping 172.31.40.1? I can ping that. Okay, that's a good sign. So let's do that. Can we ping 172.31.40.1? That responds. That's always a good sign. So that means it's probably a firewall rule on my home ASA. So I'll bring this guy up here. We're going to go ahead and log into my ASA here. And we're going to do a show run nat. And that would probably be the case. So we're going to do object, network, and we're going to say ccde lab inet. We're going to say nat inside, outside, dynamic interface. And we're going to say subnet is going to be 172.31.40.0. All right, so go back to this. Oh, not trace route. Ping. So internet access is actually kind of a big deal here because I need to be able to download stuff on this guy. So let's see, can I ping inside of my network? Okay, since I can't ping that, that tells me that, oh, okay. So the, yeah, so let me go ahead and bring this guy up here. I think I know what the problem is. Show run section OSPF. That's why. It's a routing issue. It's always a routing issue. So I need to add 172.30. Whoop, turned off the num block. 2.31.40.0 area 0, and then we'll do 41 as well. I have something else going on with that guy. So we try to ping that one. That one should respond. And then so should Google. There it goes. Okay, fixed it. Who knew it was going to be a routing issue? Cool. That's kind of slow. Okay, so if you ping google.com, that's better. Okay, cool. So let me go ahead and save that. And the ASA, I'll write that config. All right, so just for, Lawrence, you made a couple of comments in there. You're not wrong on either one of them. So on the way I have it set up is ETH0 is its own dedicated subnet. So 10.255.1 is this subnet right here, and I'm going to label that. But this internet gig 0/5, that's this guy right here. That's iNet management. It's going to both provide me internet access as well as SSH access. That's why it's called iNet management. And it's got a DHCP address. So if I go over here to this guy and I look at IPv4, it's using DHCP. So it just makes it easier. So that's why it's acting up the way that it is. But now that I have that squared away, I'm actually waiting for this guy to fix itself, because now I should be able to open up Google Chrome, theoretically speaking, and go to, say, robreichertechchannel.com, and it's going to go a little slow, but it brings up my website. So I know there's internet access. Oh, there it goes. Now it's working. So that's where I essentially would have to go with that. So I know I have internet access on the box, so I'm in good shape there. So now if I need to go download Putty, I can go download Putty. Matter of fact, while I'm here, I might as well just do that real quick. So we'll do Putty and download that real quick, just so that I have it if I need to do any testing and things like that. So we're gonna it runs a little bit slow because it's, we are in a virtual environment. So I will take that into consideration. But other than that, we should be in pretty good shape. So we'll go to the downloads. It's funny you say that. As much as I hate troubleshooting, it's just part of the game. So now I'm going to try to SSH to the FTD. So we're in 192.168.27.1. Yeah, this one doesn't like it either. So there's something wrong with SSH on FTD 27. I will troubleshoot that. No harm, no foul. But that's okay. At the same point in time, I have SSH now on the box, so I'll be able to do 192.168.27.1 for SSH or HTTP. See if that works. Yep, not working. That's okay though. As it sits right now, I'm happy with the way things are working. So now I have a Windows box that when I get, and I'm gonna wrap it up here. I didn't mean to go this long, but Just for in case everybody's curious, the way that I plan on doing everything is I plan on getting IGP working between these internet routers here, and then BGP, and then I'm going to use IGP and BGP for all of the network reachability for all the remote locations. So it's going to act like it's over legit internet, and then from there I'll be able to go through and dig into all the specifics, all ASAs and FTD and things like that that'll go along. That's my game plan. So these are the things that I plan on going through and demoing and testing out and stuff like that. So over time, things will start to make way more sense. If you guys are interested in following along, I welcome you to it. It's just one of those things where it's going to take some time to take all of the labbing that I'm doing and put it on the website. So if you guys are interested in the labs that I'm going to be building and things like that, and the technical videos for all that type of stuff, keep an eye out on robbreakerstechchannel.com. $25 a month if you want to pay for access. You can always register. I will do my best to try to keep everybody up to date. But as it sits right now, it's 8:30 at night, and I am about to go bang out a workout so that I can go watch the fireworks. So you guys all have an awesome 4th of July. I am off for the next few days, and all that good stuff. Are you okay with these? So that's the whole point. So yeah, good stuff. So you actually gave me a really good idea when it comes to some troubleshooting stuff that I want to go do. So, but anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. You guys have an awesome 4th of July. Stay safe out there, and I will catch all of you guys next Wednesday. Same time, same channel, all that good stuff. I'm gonna try to get this on the regular basis as well now that I'm back from vacation and my anniversary is behind me. So you guys enjoy it, stay safe out there, and I will catch all of you guys next week. You guys take it easy.